Hey everybody, welcome back to What Do You Know with Nick and Devin. I'm Devin.
And I'm Nick.
And this episode is not brought to you by the Merlin app, but goddamn, I wish it was. Because have you heard of the Merlin app?
Yeah, from you. This goddamn app you talk about.
I love the Merlin app.
Wild.
I wish we were sponsored by them, but I think it's like a university, so we're not getting any of that money.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, go into your app store and download it right now.
You don't have to.
It is a phenomenal educational app where you can sit anywhere and press record on the app, and it will start telling you what birds are singing to you.
And Devin, tell us how often you utilize the Merlin app.
Definitely every weekend. Remember how I said when in the mornings and the weekends I go outside and read to enjoy my slow start to the morning? Merlin app is open.
Are you going to be an avid bird watcher? Are you going to be that person who like binoculars, goes walking around and like, that's a yellow-bellied warbler?
Nice. No, I don't think I am. Well, I used to bird watch when I was a kid, though.
Oh, okay.
At my grandma's house, because she lives on a lake and everything. And there's a bunch of like cool birds and like cranes and storks and all that fun stuff,
cool.
And ducks. And she would have binoculars next to a bird identification book, and so we'd sit in her all seasons room and just be like, oh, look at that bird. So I've always been like, oh, look at that bird. But I don't think I'm going to advance any more than just like, oh, look at that bird.
I don't believe that. Secondly, I think you called it an all seasons room.
Yeah,
Like a sunroom?
I guess.
Yeah.
But it's more of like an airy, like it's not as much of an indoor room,
like
a sunroom
porch,
essentially, but it's a
Okay.
little bit more furniturized, I guess. Like there's a carpet and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's part of the house, but like you can close it off during the winter because it gets colder in there.
So then it's not all season.
But like you can be there. It's just not.
Just chillier.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It's not as insulated as the rest of the house.
Okay. My other question is, what's
Yeah.
the difference between a crane and a stork?
Well, they're two different birds, but also like what I meant to say was a crane and an egret. Those are the ones that most people get confused.
And what's the difference there? Please.
Well, you can easily identify them when
Can
they're
you?
flying, because cranes and herons and egrets, all like their neck is in a different position as they're flying. So like the great blue heron, which is a popular bird around here, will fly with like their neck back in a nest shape.
Why?
I don't know.
We don't know.
They fucking wanted to do.
So then a crane is like what, more outstretched?
Yeah,
Okay. And an egret?
same thing.
Is it
Yeah.
outstretched?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, but here's a fun story about the Merlin app, though. Is the
fun is the
last
word.
week,
That's
the other
what
week,
it is,
I was standing outside. The dogs were out, and I was like, "Oh, that's like a strange bird. It sounds like it could be a hawk." And so then I pulled out the Merlin app. Bam! I was right. It was a hawk, and they made a nest in the tree nearby. So now I got a hawk neighbor. Fucking cool.
Have you seen the baby hawks?
No, they're up in a tree.
Okay, eventually they're gonna start to fly down out of the nest, asshole.
No, I have not seen them.
Anyway, tell us more about how the Merlin app connects to your topic. Tell me it's about birds.
Obviously. Obviously. I wouldn't bring up a bird app if we weren't going to talk
Honestly,
about
though,
birds.
I don't know. Maybe you were just really jazzed
Fair.
about the app.
I just want everyone to know about it.
Right.
It's so cool.
Exactly.
No, my topic, and I'm going to put this in a frame of question, as we should
As always.
with this show, that I always tend to forget.
Perfect.
What do you know about flamingos? And I'm wearing a flamingo shirt.
You're very on brand.
Purposely put it on today. Go ahead.
I was wondering why when I came in and then you change shirts to the flamingo shirt, I think you were just being fun. Crazy kooky fun Devin.
Flamingo shirt is fun. I have 3 of them.
No one needs 3 flamingo shirts.
Well, one of them is like, it's tiny flamingo, so it's like hard to tell unless you get up close. You're like, that's a flamingo on your shirt, isn't it? And like, it is.
Do people often whisper that to you?
You'd be surprised.
Jesus. Okay, what do I know about flamingos? They're pink.
Yep.
They stand on one leg.
Yeah.
And I once saw a duck imitating a flamingo in the flamingo habitat at Lincoln Park Zoo.
That's really funny, actually.
And that's what I know about flamingos.
Perfect.
They can fly? They can't fly. They can fly.
They can fly.
They can fly.
They can.
Okay.
But usually if they're at a zoo, they'll have clipped wings.
Oh.
Well, I mean, then you'd have like flamingos all over Chicago.
Yeah, but you're clipping their wings. That's sad.
Most birds in zoos have clipped wings.
But then like you're like mutilating a bird.
Well,
for my pseudo enjoyment.
Well, we can get into the philosophy and debate of the ethics of zoos if you want. I can close my laptop and not talk about flamingos, and we can get into the ethics of zoos if we want.
The only thing I will say, Brookfield Zoo, San Diego Zoo, are one of the largest zoos.
Okay.
And I think that for rehabilitation, research, things like that, fine.
Great.
Lincoln Park Zoo, the Bloomington Normal, Illinois Zoo.
Yeah.
No, like those shouldn't be in existence. Like
the zoo in St. Louis is pretty nice, actually.
Okay, is it big?
Yeah.
Can they like run around? Like fully run, not like I'm gonna run to like doing. You know what I mean?
I think.
I just feel like
there are some exhibits that are bigger. Yeah.
They have like the space.
A little bit more space.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
The zebras at Lincoln Park have some space.
A little bit.
Not enough.
Not by any means. Remember back in the day, like all the like tigers and everything were just being like little cages. I'm like,
yeah,
that's so sad.
It's like Barnum and Bailey over there.
Yeah. Shut it down. Shut it down. Okay, we're getting way off topic. Tell me more about flamingos.
Flamingos. They're pink. They stand on one leg.
Yes, they
That's
are.
the whole episode.
Thank you so much for joining us today, folks.
You can follow us, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so flamingos.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, bright pink feathers, stilt-like legs, S-shaped neck, stand on one leg. Those are like papa.
Yeah.
Those are the like if you think of a flamingo, bam, check marked all of that. Flamingo.
Done.
Fun fact: they stand on one leg to conserve body heat.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
I'm just gonna be throwing out. This is gonna be a lot of fun facts.
But why?
Why am I talking about flamingos?
No, I mean, okay. Yes. I assume and hope we'll get to that point. But why? I mean, their legs are so thin.
Yeah.
So, like, if you bring one up to conserve body heat, is it really doing anything?
It's more so to like cover up with their webbed feet to cover up like their belly. And stuff like that.
Okay.
And, like,
sure.
Bring you like when you're cold and like you curl up in bed under the
yeah,
sheets,
yeah.
you're conserving body heat.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you're just kind of curling up as best you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you distracted by all the flamingos?
I was looking to see if any of your flamingos were standing on a leg, and they are. They're right. Yeah, right there
on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the scientific name for a flamingo is, my Latin is a little rusty.
How dare you not brush up on your Latin before this episode?
It is Phoenicopterus roseus. Phoenicopterus roseus.
So they called me in middle school.
Oh, that's why I call you Nick today. Yeah. A group of flamingos is called a colony.
Oh, I always love that. I love when it's like a murder of crows,
right?
A conspiracy of ravens. You know what I mean? Like, I love that.
Okay, so then I'm just listing off like identification stuff first, and then we'll get into the fun stuff. Okay. So depending on the species, flamingos can range anywhere from 2.6 feet to 4.7 feet tall.
Okay.
Give or take.
Sure.
And their wingspan can be anywhere from 37 inches to 59 inches.
Pretty big.
Yeah. And then again, depending on the species, they can weigh anywhere from about 5 pounds to 8 pounds.
Oh.
They're
very light.
Yes.
Very light.
Well, I mean, like all bird bones are pretty light, you know?
I mean, that's fair.
Especially, well, at least ones that can fly. Flamingos can fly, by the way.
Yes. Yes.
They fly with their necks straight out.
How'd you know that was going to be my next question?
Their necks and their legs stick straight out when they fly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like straight back or just kind of like hang?
Straight back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're just dangling in the wind.
Well, I feel like I've seen that. Maybe that was like an egress or like a crane then. But I feel like I've seen them just kind of like dangle.
Maybe. Or maybe when they just took off or about to land.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I feel like that wouldn't be aerodynamic.
Just like
We waste of energy.
all that drag. Yeah.
Generally, they are noisy birds.
Really?
And here is what they sound like.
That's awful. It kind of sounds like a mix between like a honk and a bark.
Yeah, that's what people describe it as.
That's so strange.
Yeah, right? And so, like, when all of them are together, they just honk and scream like that.
It's awful. It's like, you know, the little, like, chicken toys?
Yeah, the rubber chickens.
Yeah. Like that. That's what it is.
One more time. Thank you.
You're
I'll just
welcome.
insert that audio clip.
Instead of the actual thing. Yeah. Perfect.
All right, so there are 6 species of flamingo around the
What?
world. Right? It's not just
Why?
one fella. So there is, and 2 different specifications of the flamingo. So there are Old World and New World flamingos.
What is this, wine?
Right? So in the Old World classification, we have the greater flamingo.
Okay.
This is the most widespread flamingo, and they are located in parts of Africa, Southern Europe, and then South and Southwest Asia.
Okay.
Pretty big spot.
Yeah.
And then there's the lesser flamingo. So that is the most numerous. So they're the most amount of these guys, and and they're located in. They range from Africa to Northwest India.
Okay.
In our New World, that's our side of the earth. So we have the Chilean flamingo, which likes to live in the temperate south of South America.
Okay.
The James's flamingo lives in the high Andes in Peru, Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina. The Andean flamingo, same deal.
Okay.
And then the American flamingo, that's our boy.
Mm.
So these guys live in the Caribbean islands, the Caribbean area of Mexico,
Okay.
southern Florida, Belize, coastal Colombia, northern Brazil, Venezuela, and the Galapagos Islands.
Okay.
Yeah.
None in the U.S. itself. Other
The
than,
American
like-
flamingo, because they live in the south of Florida.
Oh, did you say that?
I did.
Oh.
Caribbean, Mexico, and then southern Florida.
Oh, all I heard was Caribbean.
Fair enough.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Continue.
All right, so their feeding habits is my next point.
Okay.
Next slide. So if you had to guess, do you think they are herbivore, carnivore, or omnivore?
I want to say omnivore.
Ding, ding, ding.
Nice.
10
What do I
points.
get?
You get more fun facts
Yay!
about flamingos. So flamingos, they filter feed on brine shrimp and blue-green algae.
Mm.
They can also eat insect larvae, small insects, mollusks, and crustaceans.
Okay.
So they filter feed because inside their bills, much like whales, they have hairy structures called, again, my other
Latin.
language than English is awful. They have these hairy structures called lamellae,
Okay.
which line their mandibles, and combined with their rough surfaced tongue. It's like worse than a cat's tongue.
Is that that's just sandpaper then? At that
Yeah.
point?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So between the filter on their beaks and their weird fucking tongue, they're able to filter out mud and silt for when they scoop out food and get to their food items and
Interesting.
eat just the food.
Why such a rough tongue, do you think?
I mean, because like with cats, it's like to help clean themselves.
Sure.
I think it must have just been an evolution thing to help filter out all the other shit.
I guess. Weird.
Very.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. So they also search for their food upside down. So like
Oh.
they're standing upright,
Uh-huh.
and then they dip their head, bend it all the way down, so their head is pointed to the earth.
Okay.
The top of their head is pointed to the earth, and they use their upper beak like a shovel to scoop stuff up and dig food up, and then filter out all the silt and mud through that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like their beak is that shovel shaped, and they use that to dig shit up.
Okay. I just have it just makes me think more and more of like what's the benefit? Like to the ecosystem, what's the benefit of having a flamingo?
Well, I don't understand why they evolved like that.
Right.
That's what's weird.
Like why like you're just eating dirt. Like I know you're filtering dirt,
Right.
but like
Well, I mean, same with lobsters and catfish and...
right. They're just bottom feeders.
Right.
I don't know. It just feels weird. It just feels odd.
It gets weirder.
How? What more could you tell me about a flamingo?
Well, we're still on their eating habits.
Okay, continue.
They are able to open up their jaws, their bills, from either raising their upper jaw or dropping their lower jaw. So humans drop their lower jaw to talk. We don't have our jaw staying still and then our head going back and forth as we talk. It all drops down. But flamingos can open it either way.
Should we try it?
It looks... I used to do it as a kid to be like, what does this look like? Because I felt like a cartoon character.
It feels like South Park.
Yeah. And I think this is actually a pretty common fact about flamingos. This next one is that they get their color, their pink plumage, from what they eat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think that's like the one fact that most people know about flamingos,
Yeah.
aside from standing on one leg.
Because aren't there like albino flamingos or like just white flamingos?
They start out when they're young as like a gray-white color.
Okay.
And then there are other flamingo species that are less pink
Got it.
than what we're used to seeing.
Sure.
But usually if they're not the same color as everyone else, with the same like brightness in their plumage, I should say rather, that's when you can tell like, oh, they're not doing well, like they're sick.
Got it. Okay.
But the pink and red color comes from the carotenoids in the plants and animals that they eat. So these are organic pigments of that color, that pink color, produced by the plants, algae, fungi, etc. that they consume.
Okay.
And these carotenoids are broken down by the flamingo's liver into these pigments. So it's their whole internal body breaking down what they eat and then turning it into color. And the food source these carotenoids come from varies by species, which affects their color saturation, which is why we have a more soft pink flamingo and then that super like neon pink flamingo.
Yeah. Okay.
The American flamingos are a brighter red because of the higher levels of beta carotene in their diet. While lesser flamingos are paler pink because of a smaller amount in their diet. So the American flamingos are just getting that more color from what they eat.
Yeah. Where's the beta carotene coming from? Do you know?
Just from their food source in that area.
Okay.
Yeah. What's affecting the food source in that area?
No idea.
Could be a million things.
Especially in Florida.
Right? All right. So we're done with what they eat.
Okay.
Check.
But I was just learning so much.
This is exciting stuff.
Thrilled.
All right. Flamingo colonies.
Okay.
They're what you call a group of flamingos.
Mm-hmm.
They can be massive. They can grow to be in the thousands of flamingos living in one colony. The reason why they grow to be so large is theorized to serve three purposes: avoiding predators, safety in numbers,
sure,
maximizing food intake, and efficiently using scarce nesting sites. So maximizing food intake is a weird one. And I think that one is from being able to... You know how whales, I keep going on to whales because they both eat the same.
Uh-huh.
You know how whales will sometimes kind of like drum up a school of fish and krill,
Sure.
and then the whole gang of whales will all jump up at the same time and eat them.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of what I'm thinking of with flamingos. Is they
Okay.
all just kind of like get it all together and then
And
everyone
filter
can eat.
and
Yeah.
okay, got it. I also imagine them just like using their feet and like shuffling the ground.
Kind of like what
up.
you have to do to like watch out for
Yeah.
stingrays and shit.
Uh-huh.
And mostly, the flamingos are mostly monogamous. So you'll see them have long-term, life-term partners.
That's so cute.
But sometimes in larger colonies, they kind of do a little swapperoo,
Oh.
a little key party.
Some swinger flamingos.
Yeah, classic for Florida.
Also very true. Also very true.
But they'll usually stick with their same partner.
Okay.
They both take part in raising their young. There has also been reports of same-sex couples,
What?
just like the penguins.
Wow. The diversity the
I
flamingos
know,
have.
so inclusive.
So inclusive. So with the times. Oh my God.
Okay, the next fact
Uh-huh.
that I have. Are you sitting?
Is it time traveling flamingos?
It does have to do with time, though.
Oh.
Okay, so are you ready?
As I can be.
Are you ready to learn how flamingos and the ancient Romans are connected?
That's scaring me. I don't like this.
So, as we know, Romans, the ancient Romans had a vast empire and traveled to a lot of different lands,
Yes.
experiencing a lot of different and exotic wildlife and cultures. And one thing they came across in their adventures of conquering
The world.
uh-huh. Was enjoying unique cuisines.
Okay.
And flamingo, particularly their tongue, was quite highly prized in Roman cuisine.
Their tongue?
Yeah.
That awful harsh. What?
The whole bird was eaten.
Okay.
But there were a couple things that were a little bit more prized as part of the bird.
And the tongue was like number one.
Tongue was one of them. Tongue was top.
Okay,
Was
what
one
else?
of the top. Well,
There's not like a lot of meat to a flamingo.
no, they only get to be like 8 pounds or something. It's like one turkey.
Truly.
All right, so Pliny the Elder in Natural History states, quote, Apicius, that very deepest whirlpool of all of our epicures, has informed us that the tongue of the flamingo is of the most exquisite flavor. So I said a few unrecognizable words in there. Epicius, again, my Latin or whatever language, was essentially a Roman cookbook. And epicures essentially means gourmand, someone who likes fine dining, etc.
Sure.
So within these cookbooks, some of these recipes included roasted flamingo with an egg sauce. I would hope and assume that they used a flamingo egg just to kind of keep it all in the same family.
At least be consistent when you're cooking, right?
You don't want like a nice rich duck egg to ruin your flamingo meat.
Don't give me a quail egg with my flamingo.
There are 8
meat,
pounds of this
okay?
flamingo.
Yeah. Wild.
Boiled.
Okay.
Parrot may be substituted though if you don't have a flamingo on hand.
And I was gonna ask what the Ina Garden substitution is.
Yeah, you go into your pantry. Oh, honey, we're out of flamingo. Do we have any parrot?
Parrot's fine.
That's fine. And then the last one that was listed was roasted with must sauce. That's M-U-S-T sauce, must sauce. So you have roasted flamingo with must sauce. What is must sauce?
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's essentially like a fruit sauce,
Okay.
a barbecue sauce consistency. According to medievalcookery.com, a must sauce, you can, I'm going to read you the recipe. Take some grapes from the bunch, peel them in a pan, and boil them on the fire for half a quarter of an hour. Add just a bit of red wine if you do not have enough grapes. Let them cool and strain through cheesecloth.
What?
So you're essentially
It's
just
just
cooking
like
down
yeah.
grapes. Yeah.
It's like a grape reduction.
Yeah. Another recipe listed on medievalcookery.com is for 4 platters. You know, if you got a lot of people coming over, if you're a flamingo, it's a holiday after
It's
all.
a holiday after all.
Take 2 ounces of cinnamon, 2 ounces of sugar, and a ½ ounce of ginger. Strain everything except for the sugar through a cheesecloth. If you do not have grapes, use mulberries. So I think you add those herbs and spices to your grape reduction.
Okay. Is
you wanna try that?
flamingo a protected class?
It is not at the moment. I'll get to their conservation later, but none of them are listed as endangered. I don't know how readily available flamingo meat is, though.
I
and
mean,
if there's
like-
anything that tastes like it, that we'd be like, oh.
I feel like we could like black market flamingo meat. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to kill the flamingo.
Right,
That's too much.
right. I don't want to
But,
go
like-
flamingo. Do you think people hunt flamingo? Like,
I don't think anyone hunts a flamingo.
I don't know. People are
I think you
batshit
just kind of
crazy in
like
Florida. You just
can
walk
like
up
walk
to 'em.
by and just like kill it. Like I don't think you need to like actively hunt a flamingo. But like if someone was like, "All right, like I'll go out, I'll get you a flamingo," like I'm not saying no.
Well, what is the weirdest meat you've had?
I think we talked about this. Cow, like cow brain, cow head, really, cow eye.
Oh, I'm sorry. We did talk about that. Let me rephrase the question. What
Sure.
like animal?
Oh, like what's the weirdest animal I've
Yeah,
eaten?
yeah.
Probably snake.
Okay.
Yeah, because like cricket is whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably snake.
Okay.
How about you?
For me, up here in the northern Midwest, it was it crocodile or gator?
Okay.
One of those. I think it was alligator. Weirdly, I had it in the southern Indiana, but it was really good. It was just kind of tough.
Yeah.
It's very muscly.
It reminds me of like giblets.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, snake is fine. We had it in Mexico,
Ooh, yeah.
and they were just like selling it on the side of the road. I don't know. I was young when we went.
Roadside
Yeah.
snake. Perfect.
I was young. We were like driving through like to go to different towns to see family, and they were like, "Oh, look, they're just." I was like, "Who just like actively just like I don't know, just like selling snake?" You know what I mean?
Different
Like,
culture.
yeah, no, I know. I just like, that was weird.
Yeah, I when I was younger, I was fortunate enough to go on a trip, a Mediterranean trip with my grandparents, and we wound up in Tunisia,
Okay.
Africa. And we walked through the street market, and there was a butcher there, and hanging in the middle of his stall was this giant ox head, like freshly cut, and like the fur and everything was still in the ox head. I was like, oh, that was I still think about that to this day. I was like, whoa.
Like one of my team members today at an event earlier today, we were recording, was talking about how when he lived in Florida, he would go boar hunting.
Oh yeah, that's huge down there.
But then, like, actively, like, he was like, well, if I kill it, like, I believe that like, you should eat
Gotta dress
every
it.
part of
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
But he was like, oh, yeah, the hardest part is, like, flipping it upside down and, like, cut and dry. I'm just like, I don't need to. It's like, I've seen Yellow Jackets, okay? Like, I don't need to think about this more.
No.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it. I don't
Field dress and then eat an animal?
Yeah, I don't think I could fully, like, dress it and all that. I could maybe hunt it.
Yeah.
I think if I had to, it's a different story.
Right. If having to
Right,
for survival
is
is
different.
obvious.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think even if someone was like, you want to go hunting? I was like, I don't think I could.
Yeah.
I think it's an animal. Like, let it be, do what it's doing. I can go to Mariano's and go grab some food. Like, I don't need to hunt this.
I think I would do it once.
Really?
Yeah.
What would you hunt?
Up here, probably deer.
You can't hunt deer.
What do you mean you can't hunt deer?
I thought you couldn't hunt deer in, at least Cook County.
Yeah, you can.
No. You can hunt things in Cook County.
Oh, in Cook County, I don't know.
I was like, you can't do any
But
of that in
like,
Cook
I'm
County.
not going in like anywhere in Cook County to go hunting.
Okay,
There's
fair.
nowhere to go hunt.
We have forest preserves.
They're like 1 acre big.
We have deer and forest preserves.
Yeah.
Okay, what were we talking about? Oh, meat. I
Eating flamingos.
think I would. I wouldn't say no. Like if I went to a restaurant somewhere and they were like, "Oh, we have flamingo on the menu."
Our special tonight is flamingo. In must sauce.
Depending on the restaurant. I'm not trying to walk in.
If it's like a hole in the wall shack, that like no.
But if it's like, oh, we went to Northern India and it was like, you said Northern India for one of them, right?
I think so.
I think it was the New World. Was it Northern India? No,
there's Northwest India for the lesser flamingo.
There it is. So like if they were like, oh, like this is, a like Michelin restaurant and we have flamingo, like I do that.
Yeah.
Like Nomad in it's like one of a really popular bougie restaurant.
Okay, great. Thank you.
But they basically have their own like facility like on
Thank you for recognizing that I don't know anything bougie.
It was more so that like not a lot of people know what Nomad is. What do you call it? But they have the whole facility inside and like someone had gone and like done the whole tasting menu and all of that, but they'll like serve like duck in like a duck skull and like beak and like, and it's just like that starts to get a little too.
That's a little barbaric.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
But if you were like, this is flamingo tongue on a bed of must sauce, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take a bite.
Yeah, with some greens.
Right, like lightly seared, like I don't know, whatever. Yeah. However you would prepare. I would assume that like you would need to marinate it, right? They break some stuff down.
Probably.
Well,
here's my next little bit of fun.
Oh.
Later on, down the line, a few Romans, mostly the emperors and all that ilk, ate the brains of flamingo, among other bits of animals, all because they believed it would make them immune to the plague.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
If all I had to do was eat brains to be immune to things, that's wild.
Yeah.
Also interesting that it was like, this will make me immune to the plague. And I thought you were going to go very much like, this will make me smarter. You know what I mean?
No, immune to the plague. Well, I mean, back then, there was so many things wrong with like the wine that these folk higher up in the society were drinking that they were all fucking crazy from like lead and arsenic poisoning, just like microdosing this shit. And they're just going insane.
I usually do ask like when I go to a restaurant, like, hey, like, is there enough like lead and arsenic in this bottle? Right. I'm just trying to get a little fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just getting a little weird.
What is the arsenic content of your finest bottle you have?
Okay, all right. Back on flamingos, because this is...
We took a little tangent. It's fine.
So that's it with the ancient Romans, thankfully.
Thankfully.
Just wanted to let you know that they ate them. Now on to where flamingos live. We kind of talked about where their range is for each species, but their habitat is weird. So because their colonies become so massive or can become so large, they need to have a sustainable food source, and that can be a problem.
Sure.
Because they can have a lot of other competition with other types of birds who would eat the same stuff.
Okay.
So flamingos have chosen to live in... evolved. I don't know if they chose, but like this looks like a nice spot. Either way, flamingos have evolved to live in extremely harsh environments to help reduce said competition as well as terrestrial predators.
Okay.
So like foxes, jackals, whatever can't reach them.
Yeah.
But the problem still would be for birds of prey like eagles, hawks, etc. Can still get their young and eggs and whatnot. So this place at this harsh environment that they've decided to live in are highly alkaline lakes and lagoons. Okay. So these bodies of water have twice as much salt content in them as seawater.
Oh.
So super fucking salty, enough where like crystallized salt structures will form along the edges from just the water evaporating and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And it is... incredibly stinky over there. Like it's such a foul stench just from the chemical structure of the water and stuff like that. Okay. And these places can exceed up to temperatures of 120 degrees Fahrenheit or 49 degrees centigrade.
Wow.
Right. So water boils at 212 Fahrenheit or 100 C. So not boiling, but still incredibly hot.
Yeah.
So some of these areas, as the water evaporates, it leaves behind the sodium carbonate and chloride compounds.
Okay.
which makes the water extremely hazardous for you and me and other non-flamingo folk.
You know those other non-flamingos?
Right. So this chemical...
Chemical X.
Yeah, Chemical X. Burns eyes, skins, clothes could even disintegrate if you're not wearing the safety equipment.
Oh my God.
And Leslie Brown, back in 1954, he was a British agriculturalist and naturalist, discovered the first nesting ground of the lesser flamingo, again in 1954 at Lake Natron in Tanzania.
Okay.
And, he's doing his science thing, being like, holy cow, look at all this cool shit.
Yeah, science.
He walks through a shallow part of the lagoon, and his legs are burning instantly, to the point where he had such a bad injury that he needed skin grafts.
Oh my God.
Right, but flamingos are just chilling there.
Just casual. We're gonna put my whole fucking face in this.
Yeah, they're chilling there. They're nesting in that area as well, and they are feeding on what they can get over there as well.
Oh my God.
But flamingos, while they can drink some salt water, they will need fresh water to drink.
Okay.
To survive. They are able to excrete and siphon out the salt through salt removal glands, and then the salt comes out of their nostrils.
Oh.
Right? So they just got like crusty salt nostrils.
It just keeps getting worse.
Right. And so then like most water in their immediate area of nesting grounds is too toxic for them to continually drink. So like I said, they need to go find fresh water. However, sometimes the closest part of fresh water is a fucking geyser pool. And that water can be near boiling.
Yeah.
And they can still gulp that down as long as it's fresh.
Boiling water?
Boiling water. These flamingos are like, yeah, that's refreshing.
Why? Like, why?
This is why I wanted to do an episode about flamingos.
That's so weird. Like, and this goes back to the point of just like evolutionarily, or like even for the betterment of the ecosystem. Why?
Right. Flamingos are so weird. Like, it got to a point where, and it might have been this Leslie Brown fella, that folks, they found a dead flamingo that had been lying in one of these extremely alkaline lakes.
Yeah.
And they thought, it was like, oh my God, we found a flamingo fossil. Like, we found like this whole thing, but they're like, no, this flamingo just like happened to die of natural causes, and like the lake fucked it up. But like this is where they live, and like they found this almost preserved salted body that they thought was like a fossil or a mummy, but it was like, nope, that's just a flamingo. They love to live here.
That's so weird.
Right?
That's so wild. Like, I get it in the sense of like you needed to evolve to like survive, right? But like in such harsh conditions.
Right. What was the point of finding this?
Right.
I mean, I know it's like have better access to food.
I guess.
Eat something different.
Now, do they migrate at all?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For like nesting purposes.
Sure.
And stuff like that. Yeah,
Okay.
like most birds. All right. So now onto like the important part of conservation. Just to let everyone know that no species of flamingo is listed as endangered. They're all cool.
In case you want to go get some flamingo meat.
Yeah, so they're not listed as endangered under the U.S. Endangered Species Act, but they are... Ooh, this is where we can't get flamingo meat. I forgot about this fact. Sorry. But they are protected under many other acts, like the U.S. Migratory Bird Act of 1918.
That's still in place. Still in effect.
You got to travel back in time.
There it is.
All right, so there are species that are listed as near threatened and vulnerable.
Okay.
But they're doing okay for now.
They're fine.
So the biggest threat to flamingos is, of course, the loss of habitat through us humans.
Sure.
We fuck everything up.
Truly.
But many zoos will have flamingos on exhibit if you don't feel like chasing one in the wild.
And truly, I hope you chase a flamingo in the wild.
The Lincoln Park Zoo, like Nick said, in Chicago, has a Chilean flamingo pond. But I don't know if that's currently open or not. I haven't been to Lincoln Park Zoo in a couple of years.
Last time I went, I mean, I saw them.
Oh, then it's open. Great.
But like, I don't know. Again, it's just kind of sad.
Well, zoos are sad.
I know. It's a whole different topic.
But the Chilean flamingos are cool hanging out at Lincoln Park. I thought this was pretty cool because they're normally found in the elevated areas of the Andes in South America and Chile. So they're pretty cool to hang out in Chicago's harsh winter and stuff like that. That's why you can see them all year round.
Okay.
There is a website called the Popular Flamingo.
Okay.
If you're interested in looking for the best zoos to see flamingos across the U.S., they have a whole little blog post about it.
What's the best zoo?
So the best zoo, the first one on their website, is the San Diego Zoo.
Nice.
Yeah. They got a big thing there. There's like, of course, Miami Zoo, etc.
Got it.
Check out their website. Otherwise, if you don't feel like going to the zoo, and if you're in the U.S., just head on down to southern Florida. And you might be able to catch a few flamingos running around in the wild.
I would hope so.
And that's all of my facts about flamingos. Thanks, everybody, for taking in my interest of the week on flamingos.
What a cute little story. Cute little factoids.
And I really hope that anyone aces flamingo trivia at your next trivia night at a pub.
That would be amazing. And if you do, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah. Well, thanks, everybody, for listening to me talk your ear off about flamingos. I hope you have a flamingo-tastic day.
No.
Well, thanks, everybody, for listening to me talk about flamingos. You can hear us talk more about flamingos on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at What Do You Know _podcast, as well as on Twitter at WDYK _podcast.
Yeah, do it. Follow us, like us, comment, send us things, all the good stuff, and keep up to date.
Yeah, send us ideas of what you want to talk about, maybe.
Yeah.
Anything that you're interested in hearing that we can also teach ourselves about would be really fun.
Yeah.
And
and we'll think about it.
Talk to us.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you for stopping by. Keep listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.